Alrighty, as you can tell. Yeah, we're getting it on with the Krylon. Yes, we're doing the Krylon thing, and we're going to be painting our Amonhotekh. So, if we take a quick look there, he's all primed and ready to go. So what we're going to end up doing is we're just going to paint him up, and yeah, we're going to see how that works out. This is the Amonhotekh that I ended up printing out on my Creality K2+. We kind of made him tall. He's kind of like that tall. He's kind of a good sized dude. So I figured he would make a good display piece that you can see up on that top shelf there. We got some figures up there, so I decided to go ahead and just run him through, and we'll just start painting. And again, we're going to be using the Krylon Metallic Dark. I think this turned out really well. Matter of fact, if we take a look at our guys over here, we actually ended up getting this guy, and this was the guy that we painted. And there's a dark wash on the left and kind of like a brown wash, but you can see from the base it's kind of sparkly, so we're going to use that as the base color for our Necron dude. I think this is the one. I think this is the right one. Or was it this one? No, I think that was the Lead Belcher. Lead Belcher turned out really good. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this guy here that we're going to be painting with that dark metallic finish. So yeah, it should turn out good. You know, the worst thing that can happen, we just have to repaint it. So it's not bad. So anyway, welcome to The Varied Life. I'm Steve, the hobby tech guy, American expat, retired here in Korea. So yeah, we're coming to you live from Korea. It's 6 March. It is chilly outside. It is about 38 degrees. We had a little bit of snow last night around midnight. So yeah, there's that. Again, it's going to be, what, 40s today? Yeah, high's going to be 41 today. So a little bit chilly. Getting into spring, we get some rain, got a little bit of snow, and then it'll bump back up and we'll get a little bit warmer, and that'll progress over time. So until then, we're staying inside, and again, we're going to be spray painting the dude. So what I'll do is we'll just go ahead and we'll go over here. Now it's going to get a little loud. I'm not going to be able to read the comments or anything, but and we're going to have a fan going, but I'll try to keep the noise minimum. And in the small ante room, which doesn't have any heat, so it makes it a little bit interesting. And we got to vent this out. So just do a little test here. It's got sparklies on it. So I think the sparklies will end up looking kind of good. It'll give us a little bit of added flair, and then when we go through, we'll just try painting this guy up and see what happens. Now there's going to be a fan, so it's going to get pretty loud. So I apologize that for ahead of time, but here we go. There we go. So we'll just get from the bottom up. first coat, and we'll see how this turns out. So again, we've got our little test piece. We'll go ahead and let that dry as well. So there he is. Let's see if we can get you all off of here real quick. And, oops. Sorry about that. Hopefully I didn't disconnect the feed. So hopefully this will turn out good. So yeah, should be good. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully this didn't disconnect and hopefully it reconnected the feed. And we'll kind of zoom in here a little bit so that way you can kind of see what we got going on. And we'll go ahead and let that dry. And that will be the next project. Okay. Hopefully that reconnected. Yes, it did. Yay. So that is our guy there. Yeah. I think that's as close as we can get to him on this, but I think that'll turn out pretty good. And if we take a look, again, it's got sparkles on it, and I think that's going to turn out pretty good. I think that's going to turn out well. So anyway, so that's what we got going on. Yeah, we're doing the Amonhotekh guy from World of Warhammer. It's not World of Hammer. World of Warhammer. Warhammer. That's what it is. Let me see if Amon. Let me see. Necron. Amonhotekh. I'm not sure which one it is. Maybe it's this dude here. I don't know. If we take a look, and we got this guy here, you can end up, I think it's that guy there. Amonhotekh. That's the one that we're kind of doing. It came off of JD Miniatures, off of my mini factory, but it's kind of like a proxy unit. So yeah, Amonhotekh, that's the guy. So yeah, we're gonna do a little painting on him, and again, he's kind of a tall guy, and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, should be fun. We'll see how it is. So we can get back to this feed. We've got the NVSK. He talks about, and he says, I have a large Necron collection I got to sort through. I've been working on Raven Guard Combat Patrol Box. I should be picking up the Necron Combat Patrol. I should be getting that pretty soon. What I ended up doing is I made some trophies because a local game store that hosts Warhammer games are going through an 8-week tournament, and so I printed out some stuff. Actually, I think I've got some pictures of that. Let me see. Do I have pictures? No. Or they're in the downloads. I think they are. Go to downloads. Do I have those? No. Oh, there they are. Okay. So what I ended up doing is for a local tournament. What we ended up doing is printing out. Oh wow, that's big. I'll make this smaller. So found some Space Marine busts, and what they ended up doing was printing this guy out along with two others. So it's about 120 millimeters tall, which is just over 4 inches. So that's going to be the first place. Second is like 100, and or it's 140, 120, and 100. So that way, and on the back, it ends up that they have, and this was printed in gold and black PLA, and on the back, what you can end up seeing, this pops in, there's second place, there's third place. So it had a little plaque area that I put some text on the back, and that turned out pretty good. And so I'm donating that to the cause for the tournament. So yeah, it should turn out pretty good. I think that's the second and third place. So you can see those, and they turned out pretty good. And so I took them to the store last night. They were kind of hanging out and doing some painting and playing. Part of the tournament, they started out with a 500-point army, and then they're going to graduate over time to bigger and bigger, and we'll see what happens, and we'll see who wins the first, second, and third place. But I thought they have some other prizes and stuff that the store donates to the cause, and I thought I'd add this in. And I think it'd be kind of cool because, honestly, it's great to see a store engage in providing an area of where soldiers and people who love Warhammer, and again, I live next to a military base here in Korea, that they provide that space. Of course, they also sell products and so on and so forth, which is totally fine. But to have something for soldiers, service members, their family members, contractors, retirees, people like me, a place to hang out and do stuff besides drink, kind of like when I was in the military. So I decided to give back to the store and kind of, I thought that'd be a cool thing to encourage more people to do that instead of going to bars, getting drunk, getting stupid, and all that stuff. So, and the SK says, sweet, that bust looks awesome. Yes, it does. And when I took the pieces there yesterday, everybody was pretty excited about it. Excuse me. I haven't had breakfast yet. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting thing, and when we go back, we'll let all that dry, and then we'll kind of bring it over to the paint station here, and we'll get to painting and seeing what type of paint scheme. So I'm thinking kind of doing, since we have that dark metallic and it has kind of like those sparkly chips in them in the paint with the Krylon, it should work out pretty good, and then we'll go in there with some other colors and some gold. I'm not sure how we're going to do the cape and everything, but it should be an interesting little paint job that we're going to do. There's a bunch of different things that we can do. Hey, we got Ferretus here. He's here this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yes. Well, it's almost lunch. It's 10 o'clock here, so it's close to morning. But yeah. So yeah, looking forward to painting and seeing what type of paint scheme that we can end up doing on these guys. And again, if we go back to our pictures, you can see that there's a lot of different things that we can end up doing. So yeah, and let's see if we can go ahead and visit that page. We'll bring that up. As that's coming up, we'll let that go. Let's get to some comments. NVSK says, have you seen any of the miniatures for 30K Horus Heresy? I've been collecting the armored vehicles from that companion prequel game. No, I haven't. I'm just getting into Warhammer. So I've been painting some miniatures, stuff that I printed off of like My Mini Factory, Colts 3D, things like that, to learn how to paint. And so with that, oh, I can't get to that page, unfortunately. Got my VPN on. But yeah, I haven't played Warhammer yet, so I'm going to get into Necrons. I'll see what happens. Even though I just heard that they're doing an update to Warhammer, they adjust the rules, and I guess they're nerfing a bunch of, things with the with the Necrons, and yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So. But this is what the Necron dude is supposed to look like. So there he is, and that is some interesting color schemes. So we'll do this dark metallic that we did, that we saw off of, our guy there. That will be the base color. And then what we'll end up doing is going through and we'll be painting this guy accordingly. So it should be a pretty interesting thing. Let me kind of crop this a little bit. And I think then that way we can make this a little bit bigger. And we could do something like that. So I think the dark metallic will work out pretty well. And then as far as like the cape type thing, I'm not sure about that. But we'll definitely go for that, and for like the shoulder pads and the stuff in the center. We'll go over that with like a gold, since he is an overlord, and we'll see how that goes. Ferrith says, just got home from the gym, saw you were streaming. Paint stream, yes, nice, trying. It'll be interesting, and this will be a good practice thing for when I get my Necron combat team. So we'll see how that goes. NBSK says, so they adjust the rules every 2 or 3 years. Don't chase the meta. Just build and paint what you want and read more for your faction you choose. Yeah. As far as meta, I'm assuming, and again, I'm a noob, so I'm assuming you're referring to the meta analysis, I guess, is what you're referring to tournaments and games to see which factions or teams are killing it at the tournaments. Haven't even looked into that. I think I barely started looking at data sheets, so I don't even know all the information on the data sheets and what they mean. Like, I just downloaded the Warhammer app. So, priming the database. They must have updated this because it's taken a while. And so with the Necrons, let me see. Oh yeah, the data sheets. Let's see if we can we'll pull up a data sheet and see Amonhotekh the Stormlord. So you've got all these things on there. And I know M is for movement, T is for toughness, SV is for saving roll, W is for wounds, LD, I'm not sure what that is, and OC, I'm not sure what that means. But you go through and eventually, so I got part of it. But we'll see. I don't even have a combat patrol yet, so we'll see how that goes. But we'll definitely try to paint all this, and we'll see how this goes. Just read the lore to your factions. Matter of fact, the other thing that I just picked up is this right here. So we got this. I'm going to be reading this, it's a fairly decent sized book, and it's got lots of pictures. So I appreciate that fact. So we'll be doing that and checking out the lore to see what they do, to kind of give some backstory into all this, and then learn how to play. SK says, I got Imperial Guard, Astra Militarum, Space Marine, Raven Guard, and Necrons. Cool. That's nice. The game store where I go to frequent, and apparently I'm going to be spending some money at that store besides buying lattes and trying to learn how to play the game. A lot of people play Space Marines. I've seen the Wolves, Space Marine Wolves, Raven Guard. I've seen Tau. A couple of people have gotten into the Tau. Let's see, what else have I seen? Saw one dude play Necrons yesterday, but he just had like 3 characters on the board. He had a swarm, he had some big character, and it was a 500-point game. And he just blew everybody away because basically what he ended up doing is taking like one of the more powerful lords that he had. It kind of looks like a tree. I wonder what he looks like. Let me see which one. And he went up against Space Marines, and he basically wiped them out. So I think it was this dude here, the Transcendent Catan. So there's that guy there. And wounds, you got like 14 wounds on him, 16 wounds on him. And holy crap, he just kind of, I don't know. To me, it was like, for a 500-point game, he had that. He had a swarm of scarabs, one, and then he had something else. It was like a heavy hitter. What did it look like? Maybe it was a death mark? I'm not sure. But yeah, it just seemed kind of unbalanced for a 500-point game, and I'm not even, yeah. Fairtha says, I mean, it's a tabletop game. There's always the flip the table move that leads to a draw. Yeah, you could do that. But when you're talking about miniatures that you got to spend a lot of money on, if somebody did that, holy crow, I think there would be fists in the parking lot going at that point. SK says, YouTube is a great resource for lore videos. Yeah, I'm going to be checking those out, especially with the Necrons. And hopefully, in the next few days, I'll be able to get the Combat Patrol. But like I said, I'm here in Korea. Things aren't as readily available as they are in the United States. And I will be getting a little bit of a discount. So that'll be good. I'll appreciate that. Because I made some things for the store and for decoration, and of course the trophy hobbies. Hopefully I can get a couple dollars back out of that. But yeah, really looking forward to painting this guy to see and put into practice. Kind of do what you see there, except I would probably go with a little bit more. Let's see if we can bring and adjust this guy. For the cape, I don't know if I want to do that color. That would be, I do want to do a staff, but the cape in that color, I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I'll do a different color. I'm not sure about the cape thing, that color. We'll see how that goes. But we'll definitely, like on the shoulder pads and, of course, the front part of him up on his chest where there's gold, I think I'll put more of a gold look on that. So that way it'll really stand out. The base will be that Krylon dark metallic spray paint that we just did. And then, of course, we'll be doing some orb action, and we'll be bringing in some black for kind of the joints and things like that. And we will probably do some shade as well. Either kind of like a brown shade or dark, or we'll see what happens. And then the orbs will be an interesting thing to learn how to do. And I've been practicing a little bit. As you can see, I got some characters there that have a little bit of orb action practice on there. So yeah, I'm trying different paints and doing different paint schemes and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, that's what we got going on. Nothing really crazy. I got to do some cleanup on here. I got to do cleanup in the other room. I did order a Uniformation GK3 resin printer because my Saturn III Ultra died. So we'll be doing some of that as well. And yeah. It should be interesting. NBSK says, I'm looking forward to seeing what you decide to go with as far as paint techniques in the finished product. Yeah, I am too. Mostly what I've been doing is kind of like one-off products. So I'll paint some stuff. I do have some like Colts 3D guys that I've painted. I wonder if I can... If my phone going to work now? Let's see what happens. And of course it doesn't work. When I want it to work, it doesn't work. So Go figure. Sometimes it works as a camera, other times it doesn't. I don't know, maybe it's because I got the VPN on, that might be it. So anyway, I got some figures that I ended up painting that worked out pretty good. So there's that. Ferrith says, new printer, exciting. Yes, GK3. When the GK2 came out, that was a highly touted resin printer. And the GK3 has had some advancements. The Ultra, but that's like $1,400. That I would love to have that, but that was too rich for my blood, so I went with just the GK3, and we'll see how that goes. Going to use an ABS-like resin, so hopefully we'll get everything all squared away on that, and we can print some stuff. The good thing is at the store that I go to and play, where they play Warhammer, they're not like, you can use proxy armies. So there's some people that do Tau, and they, you know, made by other creators or creators other than Warhammer or Games Workshop. So I appreciate that because those things are just super expensive. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Ferrith also says, I'm on a strict budget until further notice. I'll be on the second hand. So I'll be second-hand excited with you. So you'll be living vicariously through me. Yeah. But I did pretty good on some of these other guys that I ended up painting. And let me kind of give you a couple. And so I did like these guys here, and they came out pretty good. Sorry for the camera that it doesn't autofocus well, but these are just some stuff I printed off a Colts 3D page and just kind of learning how to paint and everything. And these came out fairly well. So, yeah, not bad at all. So it'll be interesting to see how the Necron army turns out, or the combat patrol. I've done some other guys as well. Kind of like, ooh, did this one here. And he's got a little bit of the barrel stuff going on, the discoloration. So yeah, just some simple stuff that I printed out with my Saturn III Ultra before it died. And yeah, I think we can get some pretty good looking minis. So, and I do have, oh no, that's not a, I was going to say that was the another one I got off the Colts 3D, and this was resin printed. But that turned out pretty good. A little dark-ish, but it turned out good. And then, of course, I have my very first Warhammer Mini that I painted, which was #1. And so we kind of did that guy there. So focus isn't too good on this, but you know, it was pretty good. It did decent. Yeah, it just that lack of auto focus. No, it won't. But yeah, turned out pretty good. Did the grimdark because I figured, you know what, if you make mistakes, you can always just dark wash it and battle damage it, and you can hide your mistakes. So that ended up being pretty good. NDSK says, those are really good. Thank you. Appreciate that. The glow effect really stands out. Hey, we got Swedish Forge in the house. Yay. Yeah. Ferrith says, yeah, I got a vacation come up in June, so need to save up for that. Also, if everything goes well, new camper lens for the vacation, and got a few big bills coming in September. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be an expensive year. We're the end of this month. We're going to the Philippines for 2 weeks, so that's going to be a vacation trip, which isn't too bad. It's about like 4 or 5 hours away from Korea, so we'll do that. That's going to be a little chunk of change. And then May, we're going to Oahu to see a graduation, and we'll spend, I think, like 8 to 10 days there. So that's going to be a big chunk. And then later on this year, if I can figure out how to get my AdSense money from YouTube put into an account or sent to me somehow, hoping that later in the year I'll be able to order another printer. And we're kind of looking at the GK, or not the GK3, FDM printer, Prusa Core 1L. Looking at that, but it really kind of depends, because now we have companies like Index that are doing that induction coil hot end stuff, you know, and nozzles. Other companies are going to be coming out with those, so we'll see where that lies. Prusa is pretty expensive. Yeah, that's going to be rough. I don't know if I'll. Hopefully some other companies come out and do some incredible stuff in that regard, and maybe I'll jump onto that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And then the other thing we got going on is we're going to buy an apartment in just a single unit, not an entire building, as an investment property to help fund not only, you know, our savings and things like that, but we'll get a little chunk and that'll go towards my hobbies. So yeah, excited on doing that as well. Hey, we got George who popped in and says hello. Hello. Good seeing you there. Yeah. We got some of the regulars in here, which is really good. That's really good. But yeah, it's definitely going to turn out. Looking forward to painting this guy and all of that. And if we go, I guess we can take a look at this. Sure, why not? We can get a little bit of a close-up here. And you can kind of get a look at something like this. So on one side is kind of like a brown wash, on the other side is a dark wash, and then we just kind of practice doing some of the orbs and things like that with some different paint schemes. And yeah, again, just some models. Some of these I brushed on some gold to see what it would look like, or maybe some bronze, and just kind of do a little bit of object source lighting. Here's another good one. It ended up pretty good. And this one was that actually turned out kind of cool. So yeah, very interesting. And I think this is with the pearl. Yes, I think this was the black pearl that we used, this Arteco pearl black, and that turned out super, super nice. Or was it this one? I think this was the that pearl black as well, and then I kind of dry brushed on some color, but that ended up pretty nice. But I like it with the gold. I think between these two, definitely I like the gold on here, and I think that'll look really good with the Necrons, of having that base metallic, dark metallic, and then with the gold accents and parts of his shoulder pads and armor. You can see that just turns out really good. So I think that'll work out well. So yeah, it'll be doing some good stuff there. I got some other stuff that we ended up, you know, painting from time to time. And then, yeah, and then we still have our Necron over there that is waiting to be painted. Waiting patiently. We got the volcanic base down. And if we take a look at that turned out really good. And this was a 3D printed, FDM printed base with some cork and some texture on there. And then we just kind of went at it with some different colors. So this will look really good with that Tyrannid. So yeah, he's gonna turn out good. And Matter of fact, yeah, you can see he's going to be quite the looker when we do him. So for right now, he is on the pile of shame. Yeah. So, like I said, we got stuff going on here. Let's see. George said after seeing the cutter, I did a review on an ultrasonic cutter. I went down a rabbit hole and saw a $300 ultrasonic kitchen knife. Wow. That's interesting. George says he does like that green. I think it does too. Ferrithus says lava bases look amazing. Thank you. It's once you can wrap around the head. All it is just looking at stuff online and copying what other people do. It turns out really good. But yeah, did nice. Matt Mick's on board. Hey, there he is. Back in the mix. Ferrithus says, did you print the base specifically for this character so the pegs on the base fit into the feet? That's a good question. Let me get that base. And the dude. And so the basic base, it was just a regular flat base. And then I added a bunch of cork on here. That's what it was. Added a bunch of cork on there. And then some texture, primed it, painted it. These pegs are actually, as you can see right here, that peg right there and that one right there is actually from a clothes hanger, a metal clothes hanger. Heated it up, dropped it in there. I think I put some super glue in there as well. So those would be the pegs for that. And then on Mr. Tyrannid that we have here, what I ended up doing is got 2 holes for those. So those will fit and marry up with those pegs on the base. And then, yeah, it'll look really good. Also put super glue and get them really, really on there. So yeah, this guy's going to turn out really nice. He is the bomb. And we're still kind of going through with the color scheme on that. We're kind of looking at maybe something like that or something like that, maybe green, but definitely some dark armor parts. So we'll see how the rest of that goes. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it turned out pretty good. Pretty good. I'm excited about that. But he will have to go back on the pile of shame for now. So let's see. What else do we got? So yeah, that answers the question. Yeah, I just took a wire coat hanger, cut little pieces about like that, heated them up, put them in there, and sunk them in there, and then I think I ended up putting super glue through the hole, and then put that in there, and it should be good to go. So it's just going to sit up on a shelf, but yeah, it should be stable enough for shelf life. So yeah, looking forward to doing the Amonhotekh guy that we got going on, that he's waiting patiently and currently drying, as you can see there. So with that base metallic Krylon paint that we spray painted, I think it's going to look really good. It's got sparklies in it. I was going to use the pearl black with the Arteco paint because I really like that. That's like a lead belcher from Citadel color. It is so close. But then I'd have to paint it with a brush, and I wanted the convenience. And if I'm going to do my Necron army, I want to do the base color all the same on all those characters. And then we could add in and do, washes and gold and the green orbs and the whole 9 yards. We could add all that stuff. So I think the sparkles will add a little bit of otherworldliness, I guess you could say. Sparklies. I like them already, but not like rainbow sparklies. We're just kind of like space sparkly. And matter of fact, let me run and get the little test piece. That should be done by now, or dry enough. thick. But that is what we're looking at for kind of like sparkles. I know it's kind of thick on there, but I think it should do a decent job for base coat. And then we could add the other stuff on there. So we'll see how that goes. Ooh, that paint. It's like melting the cup. Seriously? Look at that. It's kind of like melting the cup. Wow, that's interesting. Huh. So it should be a good color. We'll see how that goes. Looks very nice. It's okay. The next one can be rainbow colored. Yeah, we could do that. Not a big rainbow fan, but you do have that option. And if that's what you want to paint your army with, go for it. Looks almost like tin or lead. Yeah, the cup probably didn't like the solvent. Yeah. So, and again, it's just a plastic cup. But yeah, I like that paint color because it reminds me of Leadbelcher from Citadel, or the Pearl Black from Arteco, and then it throws in a little sparkly flare onto that. I think we can get some pretty good depth to that instead of just using a flat color. You know, of course, we'll do some washes and you know, some shadows and different colors for his skeleton, under skeleton, and then of course the decorative plates on his shoulders, kind of like you see in these pictures. Those will be either in like a brass or a gold, whatever it is. I want to try to make it assembly line doable. I don't want to have to spend like a ton of time on each and every single item for large amounts of paint. I want to be able to, boom, set it, forget it, do the next one, do the next one, do the next one, and then go back and then do the next color and try to knock out this combat patrol whenever I get it, and eventually army as much as I can. I don't want to be the person that has an army that takes 6-8 months to paint the whole thing. So yeah, that's how it goes. Ferrith says, Sparkle usually adds some nice micro texture for metallics. Yes, it does. They work out quite well. So yeah, looking forward to that. And yeah, it should be good. Other than that, since I live in Korea, some people are asking me with the stuff that's going on with Iran and that whole thing. Holy crow. Some people know that my daughter is in the military and she's stationed here in Korea. So people have shot me emails asking, well, is people in Korea, are they going to go to the Middle East? No, they're not. I was here during the last incursion, let's just say that, and they didn't move people from Korea to go to another theater because defending the peninsula here is their job. So usually what happens, again, I'm going to leave myself an out, is that the military stays on the peninsula and to the point of where they even did stop loss. So if you were, stop loss is where you stop and I guess you're at a loss because you're stuck in Korea. So in stop loss, anybody that was scheduled to leave Korea from the military or retire or get out of the military, especially during the big wars, they stop lossed everybody. So they stayed in place of where they were at. And that even hit in the United States. Some people weren't allowed to retire or get out of the military because of those things. But some people send me articles saying, hey, oh, they're gonna take units and stuff and equipment out of Korea to go to the Middle East. That's absolutely untrue. And it's trust but verify is what it comes down to, because a number of people sent me this, and it was kind of like World War III end time prophecy, you know, website links, and it's like, yeah, no, that's not proof. You got to go to the source. You got to go to DoD. You have to look at Army Times and things like that and get those sources. Those are more factually true than Joe Billy Bob Prophet says that, you know, Korea is going to send troops and equipment over in the Middle East and we'll be defenseless here. No, that's never happened. So yeah, be careful who you hook your horse to, you know, tie your wagon to or whatever. So there's that, but business is pretty much usual here. Some people were telling me, I think at like Osan Air Base, they were saying that service members are not supposed to wear their uniforms off post. Haven't seen that here where I'm at, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's just kind of a really interesting situation going on with that. Even Russia said no thanks, and they had a defense pact with Iran. Yeah, and whether you agree with the Iran thing or not, I mean, I know that's kind of a politically charged thing. If you look at the international treaties, Iran has broke a number of those treaties that they agreed to follow, and yeah, the human rights violations, it's definitely problematic. But yeah, I'm just going to stick to gaming. That's where my battles are going to go. I'm retired. I'm done with all that stuff. But some people are asking, you know, what's going on there in Korea? How are they reacting? There was a notification that I heard people talking about saying that any mail from the Middle East is not going to be sent. So, because they're thinking people might send items through the mail that would be not good. So they're not accepting mail in military postal services from the Middle East. So we got that going on. Verith says, we just got a big email telling us to be on alert because of the heightened risk of attacks. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that we'll get that as well. It's kind of a crazy time. So, you know, it's one thing to end up playing war games and stuff like that, but when you look at war in reality, it's an ugly thing, and yeah, I don't wish that on anybody, but it happens. It happens. So, but other than that, we're doing okay. Some people were worried that, oh, are you going to get evacuated from Korea? Is North Korea going to come down? Because the whole thought of the United States can't hold two fronts, two wars at the same time. I beg to differ after spending a career in the military. We're not worried about that at all. And North Korea has been very quiet. They think they're letting all the highlights go over to Iran and let them, they don't want to do anything. So, yeah, so we're in a pretty good position here. Nothing bad. But other than that, that's about it. Just kind of updating, getting the new resin printer. So that's big. We're going to be painting this guy here, or wherever they are in the pictures. Painting that guy to get our paint scheme done for our upcoming Necron combat patrol. So looking forward to that. And learning how to play the game. So worst case scenario, I'll just end up with some cool painted miniatures. Best case scenario, I have cool painted miniatures and I play Warhammer and enjoy it. Let's see. North Korea is set. They have the bomb. They don't need to worry about anything. Yeah, but the problem with that is that if they send the bomb, talking about the big nuclear bomb, and it's in South Korea, that you're going to have the fallout, and then that can go and drift, radiation can drift into North Korea. So it's kind of it's not really a good thing to have. It's kind of more of a deterrent type thing. I'd rather be on Humphreys than Meade right now. Yeah, that would be a thing, but I don't know. It's interesting because there's a lot of foreigners that live in Korea that look Middle Eastern. So I wouldn't be lying if I've seen people giving them the side eye, you know, kind of look around, check your six and all that stuff. So yeah, a little bit of heightened vigilance, let's say, and yeah, but other than that, business as usual. My daughter hasn't mentioned anything And everything from what I've talked to with a few people on the military base is that, yeah, it's heightened vigilance, but nothing out of the ordinary. So, yeah. Ferrith says, yes, as a deterrent, I mean, nobody will ever attack the regime change because of that. Yeah. And what I'm hoping for is that eventually there will be some connection ties with North Korea, with South Korea, that we can get eventually some type of communication and the rhetoric from North Korea goes down so we can kind of normalize some things. But I don't think it's going to happen with Kim Jong-un in charge. I think his daughter, which is kind of it's looking like she's going to be given the reins of the country after he goes, and hopefully, being a younger person, hopefully she will kind of warm up to the fact that they can kind of take it easy on that BS. So, Mad Mick says, I should be there soon anyway if all goes smooth. Yeah, Mick's planning on coming to Korea. There's a number of other people that are in the same boat. Whether it's kind of like me and my wife, that we ended up coming to Korea to retire on an F4 and F1 visa. Other people get jobs over here and things like that. So yeah, it is an interesting thing. Make money while you can and save towards that retirement. And yeah, it turns out it should be good. But everything seems to be going okay here. The only thing that's going on here in Korea that the Koreans are worried about is they have a number of people that are in the Middle East that need to get evacuated, and they're having a hard time because they're kind of stuck there. So in places like Pakistan, of course Iran, and other places around that general area, yeah, they just didn't see the writing on the wall. I don't know personally why you would want to go to the Middle East. In my opinion, it's kind of like Mexico. That's crossed off my list. Don't want to go. It's like, unless there's a huge major change. I mean, Iran used to be a beautiful, beautiful country. Beautiful country. I mean, it was kind of like a resort place. But then it just kind of went downhill, and it is what it is. So, but yeah, other than that, business as usual here in Korea. So I could be thankful for that. We will probably see some increase in the cost of goods and services that are tied to petroleum and oil, gas, oil, things like that comes from the Middle East because of the Straits of Hormuz, where all the ships go through. Supposedly Iran or Pakistan, one of those places, one of those ands, says that they're only going to let Chinese ships go through and no other ships. Well, yeah, we'll see how that goes. And other countries are getting on board with that. So we'll probably see. I filled up the car yesterday with gas. So, yeah, got to do that. But the good thing is I can get my gas on the military base, which is less expensive than gas off post on the Korean economy. So kind of got that going for me. But the gas is up to like $3 a gallon now on the military base. And they pay like 1700 won per liter in Korea. I think it's like 1650. And I think it's like 1480. So you're looking like $1.12 per liter for gas in Korea, somewhere around there, depending on the exchange rate. But they're fully expecting that gas prices are going to rise, and so yeah, we'll see a little bit of an added expense in that regard. But other than that, I think we're doing good. Public transportation, all that, it is what it is. Where you are, that's where you're going to be, and you're just going to have to deal with whatever's there. Mad Mick says $3 is good. I actually thought it would be higher there. No, it was actually, and it was lower than $3 on the military base. So yeah, if you get here, definitely get your gas on post. It is definitely cheaper than because like 10, 12 gallons of gas, maybe $40, $50 or whatever it is. It's not too bad. But if you go off post, yeah, you're going to pay like double. It's kind of rough because it ends up it's like $1.12 for a liter. There's like what 4 liters in a gallon basically. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it or is that how many liters in a gallon? 3.7. Okay, that was close. Close enough for government work. So, yeah. Oh, you know what we can do? Numbeo. We can check out Numbeo, which is dun, 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 dun. We can check out Korea and the cost of living expenses. We can get over here. Dun, dun. Yeah, we can take a look at that. Because some people were trying to find out, well, how much does stuff cost over there? Makes sense. It's cheaper on base here too. Shame it will go up everywhere. Yeah, it will. If we take a look at Numbeo, which is a good thing to look at. Let me get rid of some of these so we can see what's on the screen when we go to the desktop. Numbeo is a good place to look at because you can get some good estimates in regards to prices of things. So in the currency, you can see you can change it in Korean won, or we can go down to USD, and so that'll change. No, I don't want to do that. Restaurants, markets, transportation, gasoline per liter. We can see that's like $1.13, which is, I'd say that's pretty darn close. So Numbeo, you can get some good ideas of what and how much stuff costs. This is based on Seoul, Korea. But let's see, Pyeongtaek, Pyeongtaek. And we can check for gas. Oh, we got to go back and we got to change that to USD. And yeah, $1.14 a gallon. So yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. So that's a good way to kind of look at things and how much and what you're going to pay for certain items. It'll give you a ballpark figure. Obviously, you can shop around. You can get some cheaper prices on some things versus others. Like open air markets, you're going to get better pricing depending on where the market's at than in some stores, because local farmers sell it at a little bit cheaper. But yeah, it all depends. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Nothing too exciting. We want to keep it that way. Nice, boring, normal, like the routine. So keep that up. It'll be good. So anyway, I think that is going to be it for today's stream. Again, what we ended up doing is going through and we painted our dude there. And we'll let him dry, and then in a future video we'll start doing some painting at the paint station and get some practice for our Necron army, and eventually I'm going to try to learn how to play Warhammer. I don't know how that's going to go. Honestly, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, so we'll see how it goes. But anyway, if you all could do me a favor, if you could you hit the like button, smash that subscribe, ring the bell, all that cool stuff. I would really appreciate that. That would help out the channel. And again, it's just something I do as part of my retirement. Ferrithus says, enjoy your day. Finishing dinner here. Yeah, good. I'm going to be enjoying some breakfast here pretty good. Mad Mick says, have a good one. You as well, sir, and everybody else that is on board. For those that want to contact me, what you can end up doing is you can see the outro here. My email, official, thevariedlife@gmail.com, right down there. A bunch of people bought me coffee, updated the list up there, and Mad Mick, Corsair the Pirate, Ferrithus, Barry, Terry Lay, a number of those people have donated coffee to the cause because I do make my lattes and enjoy those. But if you want to say hi or ask questions or whatever it is, show me pictures of stuff that you're working on or cool stuff that would make me a better person, painter, printer, go ahead and hit me up in the email. So that is going to be it. Swedish Forge. Yes, he says see ya, and I will take that as well. We'll see you all in the next video, and we appreciate you stopping by and checking out the stream. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Peace. Good stuff, good stuff.